this week's first episode. Actually, it's the welcome to the first episode of Critcast. I am Scrivian. Below me is Azrael Reborn, and to my left is Greer.
Hey,
And so this is our weekly podcast. We're getting together to talk about a bunch of stuff, mostly about World of Warcraft. We know that Critical Moment Reformed is a reformed WoW-centric community. And so we're going to talk about World of Warcraft, issues in World of Warcraft, and rating in World of Warcraft, and all those good fun things.
And it's going to be awesome.
It's going to be great.
It is. So we're going to start off, and the first thing we want to do is just do a quick intro of each of us and who we are. But everyone who's watching right now probably knows who we are, so this will be really fast. I'm Scrivian, community lead, been guild lead, many other different games as we jumped around, and now I'm a raider in World of Warcraft. I play a Death Knight tank, Victus Nexia, and I let Greer yell at me in officer chat because I can't hold aggro.
Yep.
And Greer?
Okay.
Well, yeah, I'm Greer Reaver. I raid lead for us usually. And, yeah, I play games, mostly Warcraft. So we're going to talk about Warcraft. It's going to be very exciting. I'm excited. Are you guys excited to be here?
I'm very excited to be
I'm
here.
very excited, Greer.
I'm going to see how many times I can say the word excited in one show, and I'm going to count it at the end.
Okay. And right below me, Azrael.
I like
I'm
that you keep
Azrael
saying
Reborn.
below me.
Yeah.
You just keep pointing down and saying below me.
Okay.
I think you're leaving the E out.
Okay.
I'm Azrael Reborn, Paladin tank. I'm the one who's usually bitching about deleting my tune after screwing up tanking.
Yep. It's the
No,
tank
really,
whipping boy.
We're really not that bad. We're doing okay. We're doing okay. We are.
No, we're fine. The raid team's taking off, filling back up. It's good to be back in there. It really is. I'm glad that we're back in there doing it together. It's been a while since we tackled Warcraft, and took a pretty long break after the end of Throne of Thunder. So I'm glad we're doing it again.
It's really good, and I'm happy to be back. I mean, I think I love raiding. I started raiding in World of Warcraft, and we've raided in Rift and Star Wars, and I don't know what else we raided in that I played. But how about you guys?
For me, it's been mostly now WoW, Star Wars, a little bit in Terra.
Honestly, I've been lately. Obviously, we played Star Wars for a little while, and we did a lot of things. I took almost like a 2-month break, really, from doing anything. But yeah, it's WoW now. I'm resisting all these other games that keep popping up. I know some people are gauging it out and testing it out, so and that's cool. You guys do what you got to do.
I am. So let's talk about some World of Warcraft stuff. I think the first thing we're going to do, the show's going to be broken into various segments, and as we go along, we will have sound break. As you see, we're still working out the sound and video and everything. This is a new system. We're still using XSplit going across Twitch, but we're using a new program besides Skype, and quality seems to be pretty good right now, so we're looking forward to it. So we'll continue to make improvements as the show goes on. Tell your friends, bring more people, talk about us, laugh at us, all those other good things. We have
Mostly
fiction.
laugh at us.
Yeah, all those other good things. All right, first thing we're going to talk about is we have critical hits. Now, this is the important topics or things that have been released during the week. And the first thing we want to talk about is Greer.
Well, the first thing we want to talk about is that on April 22nd, Blizzard released the new WoW source video, and this time they were talking with Brian Halinka, Ian Azacostas, and Chris Zierhut. They were focused basically on PvP changes, and then they did talk a little bit about some of the class changes and what their philosophy is. But it was about a 30-minute video, and it's pretty awesome. If you haven't checked it out, I highly suggest it. But there were some things we pulled out of there specifically that we thought we would talk about this week. And the first one is, I don't know if you guys saw this. I know you guys watched the video. The PvP gear now, there's been a big problem throughout Mists of Pandaria where if you have really good PvP gear, you're great until you go out in the world against somebody who has really good raid gear, which is significantly higher item level. and there's really, like, you end up getting smashed, which doesn't make sense because PvP gear should be the best at PvP no matter where you are. So to combat that this time, I think they're going to keep a similar system to this tier or to this expansion where PvE gear will be, several points higher. But when you have PvP gear, if at any point you're out in the world and somebody else attacks you or somebody tries to gank you even while questing or whatever, your gear will now jump to a new PvP eye level, which is in the graphic they showed was about 30 eye levels higher. Yep. So basically, if somebody tries to gank you with their better raid gear, now your PvP gear kicks in, and it is significantly better. And that way, their goal was to keep a little, like, basically now you'll still be able to get PvP gear, and you'll still be able to use it in PvE, and they'll still be able to maintain that crossover. But now, when you get in PvP, the idea is PvP gear will always be the best, no matter what situation.
Well, I think it makes sense that they're doing this with what they had talked about before in earlier blogs and releases and tweets and everything else, being as we're only going to have one set of gear in from now anyways, meaning that if I go in as a Death Knight, right, the gear is going to change depending on what my spec is. The stats will change, right? Correct. So, I mean, there's no more gathering 2, 3, well, for the Druids, 4 different sets of gear. You're going to gather one set. And so basically now all they've basically done is they figured out the coding to add the PvP into it. It sounds. I mean, when you look at the actual program itself, so that the gear itself has 4 or 5 sets of stats attached to it.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead. Ask.
My question is all right. Now you get attacked, your stamina goes up, your intellect or strength all goes up. So now, does your health instantly shoot up there too? And do you get that initial first heal right off the attack?
Good question, yeah.
I think basically you would. I assume whatever, you know what I mean? You would go, when it scales, I assume if you're
percentage of health?
Yeah, if you're at 75% health, when you pop up, you'll still be at 75% health, whatever that is, I would assume. Like I said, they've been messing with the scaling tech. They use it when they beta test for their raids, and they use it in, challenge modes and proving grounds now and whatever. So now they're just, taking it a step further and applying it out in the world dynamically, fast, like basically instantly. And that, I think it's super cool. It's cool that they can expand that tech that way, but it's also, it's good because it's been a complaint. It's not like world PvP is rampant, but like places like the Timeless Isle and stuff, if you got PvP gear, you should be able to, if you're on a PvP realm, you should be able to go out there and win. You shouldn't be getting smoked by everybody else who's in, heroic raid gear. So it's good.
Well, now that is not going to apply back over, though, right? I mean, you can't get your top PvP gear and then go into a raid and be bumped up to...
No, see, that's what... basically, it's going to work. Like, let's say the PvP gear level is 660. So when you go into a raid, your gear level is 660. But when you go into PvP or somebody PvPs you, it jumps to 690. And that's it. It doesn't work crossover that way. And it doesn't sound like the PvE gear is going to have anything. Like basically, the way I think the PvE gear will be the same system as now, where it scales down to a certain eye level, and that eye level bumps up over time over the course of the expansion. I think that's worked out relatively well. So.
Well, what about? I mean, stepping aside, sticking with the PvP, one of the other things they talked about this week was blacklisting PvP battlegrounds.
Yes.
Yeah, during the show, that was one of the viewer questions they took was, do they think that the blacklist system has worked out? And they said that what's funny about it is that, and I thought this was actually surprising because most of the people that I have PvP'd with have at least mentioned what battlegrounds they might want to blacklist. They said only about 20% of the people, give or take, are actually even using it. So
my question back, my follow-up to them would have been 20% of the players are doing it, but what percentage of the players who PvP are doing it?
Well, and
because I haven't blacklisted anything, but I'm not PvPing.
Right, but I think that's if you queue for PvP. You know, I mean, if you have the blacklist when you queue for a random battleground, if you have anything blacklisted, then you participated in it.
I have 2 of them blacklisted when I queue up for PvP.
Well, yeah, and I really felt like, like there's a couple, like depending on which faction you're on, where it seems very obvious that the other, and I'm sure that of those 20%, the majority of them, depending on faction, are similar. Although I'm sure some people have some they like that are different than others. But, like I think Horde generally skips Isle of Conquest and perhaps Alterac Valley because there's always been a perceived Alliance victory.
You know what I'd like to blacklist is some instances. I mean, for the random.
Right.
That'd be cool if they add that in. I mean, so I don't have to go do the ones that I just can't stand.
One of the biggest knock on this this whole expansion, though, is how few instances there were. So then you start blacklisting them, and then there's only 3 to run. So
well, I'm gonna if we can add in bosses, I'm gonna blacklist Garrosh, and so we'll go with some other ones in there.
What, an LFR?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is rough.
I don't think that it's rough. I don't like fights that take forever. It's like Rift. I mean, we started doing Hammer now when we were in Rift, and I'm glad we never got to Achilles when he was a 45-minute fight. That's a long time to stay focused.
No, it is, and that's I think that's one of the cool things we didn't talk about this, but about the new combat res system, especially in like if you were in a 10-man. Essentially, Garrosh means you're going to get a second battle res, which may come in very handy in a 10-man.
That's true. Yeah.
And that's very cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, one of the other things, big news was that they announced BlizzCon. And I know did. Greer's a big fan.
They did. I have my badge right here. Yeah, it's my badge. No, they did. It's 2014 BlizzCon is announced. It's going to be November 7th and 8th at the old Anaheim Convention Center again. The tickets this year are $25 more expensive than the already expensive last year. They are $199 a ticket now.
Because that sounds so much better.
Which is whatever. It does, doesn't it? I agree. You gotta trick people. That's pretty. It's funny how common that still is. And by now you'd think that would have sort of gone away because it's really. But then also now, the way I understand the charity benefit last year was like $500, and that might not be right about that number, but it is. I know it's bumped up significantly, which it's a charity benefit. So
I thought I saw $750 for that one.
But yeah, it is $750 this year.
Well, that's not hard to do when you think about because, I mean, for the charity, the charity sells out at $500, and there's still a huge demand. It's easy to just bump it up another $250, figuring the people who's going to pay.
That's the same thing with the ticket.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same thing with the tickets.
Well, so that's just it. Maybe that's why Blizzard has resisted. I mean, I think it was a couple of years ago when people were saying you need to move BlizzCon to Vegas, where they can handle 5-6 times. And why? If they do that, the prices will drop because they won't sell out. Well, they might, but. Probably, but
right. Well, and then there's the huge deal. The thing that everybody, I'm pretty concerned about is that this year, instead of selling the tickets themselves and using the system that they've used and people are now accustomed to, they have decided to use this event ticket sale. Like basically, you use this to manage ticket sales and events, and it is called Eventbrite. And it's like a similar to a Ticketmaster type service. And the big difference about it is there's no queue for ticket purchasing like there was before, where it's like, all right, I get in, I'm in the queue, and then which in some ways is all right because you don't have to wait an hour and then find out you didn't get tickets, but that's beside the point. It's what people are used to, and also when you pick them, basically it's you're getting in as quick as you can, and then you have to choose the number of tickets you want right away, which means unlike last year where we were all seeing who could get in, and then whoever got in changed their tickets to 4 and bought tickets for everybody. We won't be able to do that again either. That's gonna change it a lot, and I'm a little bummed about it. little bummed about it. So I think it's going to make a very hectic time period that like, it's crazy last year. It's a
I remember
stressful
you guys all
time.
getting together on TeamSpeak ready to go.
Yep, and it's stressful. You know, you're jamming F5. Like, come on, and it finally happened.
I think it was last month, the Big Bang Theory, where they're all trying to go to Comic-Con San Diego.
I didn't know, but I'm sure it was.
They're at the beginning of the show, and there's 5 of them sitting around. The guys, or the 4 guys are sitting around, and they got their laptops out. And they're like, okay, tickets are about to go on sale. Ready? Go. And they're all sitting there going, are you in? Are you in? No. Are you in? Are you in? Are you in? No. And then no one got in.
Nah, it is pretty crazy, and not being able to queue like that. Like basically, you know, it's like a normal ticket service. You get your tickets, and then if they're available, you have 15 minutes to complete your thing, and if you don't, you're toast.
Wow.
SOL.
But yeah, it's
interesting.
I'm excited, but it's going to be crazy. So hopefully more of us can go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to let's switch over to the next. Trying to keep the show time constrained, you know, so we don't go on. Is going to go to our next section. Is going to be bonus damage. Now, in bonus damage, what we're going to end up doing every week is we're going to go pull a couple of hot topics from the forums and kind of give our own opinions on those topics. Kind of just see where that goes and see where the discussion goes. And the first one we have this week is that a guy named Luno, it's from the Argent Dawn server, poses the question as to what everyone's favorite or least favorite faction boss was in game. Well, in game or in the Worldcraft world or in the universe.
So who wants to go first?
I'll go first. Oh,
that's good because I don't know anything really as far as the Warcraft lore. I
think mine comes from probably more because of the reading the whether it's the Christie Golden books or the other ones where we're talking about it, and I think just because of the character development and maybe not so much as to what we've seen in the game, but more from the lore is that personally I'd go with the Bloodhoof, the son. Is it Cairn? Bloodhoof?
Bane is the son.
Bane Bloodhoof. And basically I think I've always liked the Taurans. I think Tauren was the first character I ever created, and then I went over to the Alliance and I was a dwarf, and the only reason I was there and stayed dwarf is because I couldn't be a paladin, and then I could be a Tauren paladin, and I switched back when we were Horde for a while. And I think just reading the story, I kind of like the Tauren outlook on the Horde and everything. They're more of the peaceful, non-psychotic races. I mean, the undead turned on themselves and tried to do chem gas or bio, whatever. Everyone.
It's a nice break from the rest of the crazies.
Yeah, Garrosh is the Putin of the Horde. He's basically trying to take more territory and kill everyone. So, I think I'm a Bloodhoof fan.
So does that make Gary then your least favorite?
He is my least favorite. He's a complete douche.
Why don't you take a stab at it, bud? I know we talked a little bit about this because we...
Yeah, like I said, I originally played WoW back in the vanilla day. Didn't play it for really a long period of time. Then left the game. Don't really know a whole lot about the lore. I guess my first character I ever made, though, was a human paladin. And I really liked the storyline that started from there. Other than that, that was about it.
Favorite class works for me. I'm cool with it. So I was thinking about it, and I'm kind of become a little bit of a lore junkie lately, and I just really been getting into it. I think I always have been that way, and then I just finally decided I'm just gonna go with it. But what I think right now the most my favorite is probably Sylvanas. She's a little bit of a badass. She's crazy. She's probably going to have to get killed at some point. But the fact that she's been around for so long, it's tied so hard to the Lich King story, and it's like, I really think she's awesome. Like, it's cool. And the Undead are obviously a cool race and whatever, the Forsaken, whatever. But, and then I really couldn't think of anybody that I hate. off the top of my head. I just, like I said, I kind of like the story, so I like all the different stories. But the person that I think is like probably just as intriguing as Sylvanas is the Prophet Velen, because he's basically, been there since the Burning Legion began. So it seems very obvious that he's going to play at least some sort of pivotal role in the story of the Burning Legion. And I think that, we haven't really, you don't hear that much about him. He's kind of a quiet, off to the side character, but he's ultra powerful and ultra smart, and he's been around forever. And I think that he's significantly more of a badass than we know.
Mm-hmm. Well, cool. Well, Greer, I'm going to let you take the next, being the raid leader. I mean, be the current raid leader. We've all done raid leads in various games and stuff, but you're the raid leader and the guild leader now. And so the next one's appropriate for you to go ahead and lead on.
Well, this topic was posted in the raid forums, the Blizzard raid forums, and it was by Achilles from the Tichondria server. And basically, the post was relatively long, but the question that he was posing is how, when they're on farm content and he's raiding, how do you maintain a calm, positive attitude when people are, messing up constantly, screwing up, dying on things that you can kill, dying on things that you should be knocking this out onto either the progression bosses or onto just, whatever else you're going to do for the night. And it can be incredibly frustrating. So how do you keep a calm, positive attitude? And honestly, it's something that you struggle with. You generally, if you have a calm, positive attitude, then you'll probably be able to keep it. Even if you are a calm, demeanored person, though, there is nothing more frustrating than, spending significant amount of time on something that you really don't think you should or don't want to. Because if you've killed it 100 times, everybody wants to get through that. Nobody wants to spend a lot of time on it. And, stupid mistakes in that situation, even in a casual group, there can be incredibly frustrating, especially if it's the same person. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I send tells to Goji, or whisper in officer chat. That's why we don't stream. I'm kidding. No,
Right.
I do that. But I don't know. I don't think I ever really let it stress me out too much. I mean, that doesn't say that I don't get pissed. I was getting pissed. I mean, the other night I was getting mad. We were wiping on or having issues on a boss that we shouldn't have.
Yeah.
I mean, we're at the point now, we've been raiding together. We've raided together, the three of us have raided together in Star Wars, moved back over to World of Warcraft, and it's still boss mechanics in it, and it's class execution. And I think, but I think I was more upset for the fact that it was me. I mean, I was one of the two who are contributing to the failure of the group, and I don't like that. And that's something I hope that raiders themselves take that personal accountability and don't say, oh, it wasn't me, or say, yeah, it's me. I'm sorry, I'm having an off night. I can't figure out why. But I could hear the frustration in the group. Now, we've had other nights where we were working on boss, and we were working Dark Shaman and other stuff, and other raiders were having issues. And I think sometimes it is frustrating, or I mean, it's definitely going to be frustrating when you feel that you're on your game or you're in the zone and you're like, okay, we got this, and somebody does the same thing over and over and over, or Goji's tabbed out because he's like checking the latest fashion stuff,
Right.
or Cash is reading the latest Warcraft novel, so you guys can duel on lore.
I'm pretty sure Cash
does
is
get-
off in the corner making bandages and then bandaging different people in the raid.
Oh, so that's his heels. So I mean, I don't know. I think you get around it, and maybe for us it's different because we're not a world first kind of guild. We're serious. I wouldn't say that we're casual. I would say we're serious, but we're not like what old school hardcore.
Right.
And I think that the thing that helps a lot is that we've been now doing this for months, And so as you build that team and you build your friendships, you're able to kind of deal with it a little bit more and know that sometimes some people just have a crap night.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's just accepting that sometimes people, you're all. Now, if you come back another night, we've never had it where one person blew it all Tuesday night doing the same stupid mistake, and we come back Thursday and they're doing it again. We haven't had that happen. It's usually one night and they'll fix it.
Yeah, it's we've certainly seen it be good now. Go ahead, Az.
I think that there's a point to it when you either need to take the blame in on yourself and don't spread it out to other people. Your faults. If somebody points it out to you, as long as they're not demeaning that person,
being a dick about it,
in a way where it brings the rest of the morale down for the raid group, that to me is the worst thing I think you can do. A lot of us have raided together, and we can joke around and we can give each other a little bit more shit than normal. I think that's okay.
And we do all the time. That's the best way.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think the trick is, even if you're serious, you got to try to keep it light, and if you're the person who can't keep your cool, then you probably need to check yourself a little bit and figure out why you hate the game you play so much. Like, it's supposed to be fun, and it can be the most frustrating thing in the world because, it's not fun dying and not getting shit done, but, I think it's, have fun. That's the goal.
Yep. Well, awesome. Well, I think tonight was a good first show. Lots of stuff to work out. Please, anyone watching, feedback in TeamSpeak to our face through tells, in the forum, Twitter, Facebook, all those things that are on there. Greer, you want to give quick shout outs to anyone who's watching in the chat room there? I can't see them.
Well, I mean, I see Rev and Cash and Broody and
yay, thanks guys.
All of our cool friends, G-Max, the Giorgio is in, and several other people. Really appreciate it, guys. But my shout, I want to give a little shout out too to the Kitty Cat Cirrhosis, because I'm really hoping that now he was up to rank 10. I heard he fell back a little bit tonight, so I'm pretty sure he's licking his wounds. But hopefully we'll get to see him in the tournament when we go to BlizzCon. That'd be the goal, right?
That'd be cool.
Keep it up, man. Keep it up.
All right, thanks everyone. I hope everyone has a good night. Appreciate you. We will be on. It will be 10 o'clock Eastern every Monday night. Monday night. That's when we're going to be doing this show. And next week, I promise we will have cool music. Well, we'll have music.
We'll have some stuff. We're going to do more stuff.
There'll be some commercials, maybe. Something. We'll see. I got to work that audio stuff out.
I'm going to digitally punch Az in the face through the cameras. It's going to be amazing.
Actually,
which way is it?
All right, everyone have a great week.
Later, guys.
Adios.
Disillusioned with you. Also disappointed in you. Also disappointed. After all that we've been through, it.